The woman knelt in the dark of the confessional, her voice low, her hands pressed together against the wooden ledge. She had been gossiping. Words about another person spoken over a meal, repeated to a neighbor, and now, kneeling here, she wanted them undone. She confessed it plainly and waited for the priest to give her a penance. Something ordinary, a few familiar prayers perhaps, or several Hail Marys, said before she rose and walked home. Instead, from the other side of the screen, came something else entirely. "Go home," the voice said, "and get a pillow." She did not move at first. Surely she had misheard. "A feather pillow," Philip Neri said again, his tone unchanged, as plainly as if he had named any ordinary penance. "Bring it to me." She left the church with no idea what a pillow had to do with any of her sins. Rome, 1560. Philip Neri had by then become one of the city's most sought-after confessors and spiritual directors. For decades, he had given himself to the spiritual life of Rome, hearing confessions for hours at a stretch, visiting the sick, drawing people toward prayer and the sacraments. Those who came to him encountered a priest known not only for his holiness, but for an unusual mixture of spiritual insight, humility, and joy. Philip had little interest in appearing important. He sometimes made himself look foolish on purpose, rather than let anyone admire him too much. But when a soul was placed in his care, he took it seriously, and his guidance could be unusual. The woman had come to him for that reason, on the word of a friend who had gone to him before. She was about to discover just how unusual. She returned with the pillow, and Philip gave her an instruction there in the church. "Cut it open," he said. "Scatter the feathers to the wind, then come back to me." She carried the pillow out into the street, past a fruit seller and a cluster of boys chasing a dog, to a place where the wind moved freely between the buildings. She drew a small knife along the seam. The stitching gave. The feathers rose out of the opening before she had even turned it over, small, white, weightless, catching the light. She turned the pillow upside down and shook it. The wind took the feathers at once, snatching them up and away before she could close her hand around a single one. They climbed above the street, over the tilted roofs, past a bell tower where a startled pigeon scattered from its perch. Some caught a current and vanished out over the Tiber. Others drifted 3 streets away, onto a stranger's doorstep, into a courtyard where a woman was hanging wash, under the wheels of a passing cart, into the open door of a bakery. Within a minute, the pillow hung empty in her hands, and not one feather remained in sight. She walked back to the church. She found him again, and he asked whether she had done what he said. "Yes, Father." "Good," he said. "Now go and gather them. Every one. Bring them back to me." She stared at him. "Father, I cannot. The wind has carried them everywhere. Some may have fallen nearby, others could be anywhere in Rome by now. On a rooftop, in a garden, in the river. I have no way of knowing where they went. Once I let them go, they were no longer mine to control." "No," Philip said. "They were not." He let the silence sit for a moment before he spoke again. "Your words were like those feathers. Once you spoke them, they were no longer yours. Someone heard what you said and told it to another, who told it to another. By now it may have reached people you have never met, and you cannot know how far it has gone or call it back." She said nothing. "You have confessed, and God fully forgives you. But forgiveness does not gather the feathers. What you said is already gone where it has gone." She walked home through the streets where, somewhere above her, feathers were still settling into places she would never see, resting on a windowsill, caught in the branches of a fig tree, floating on the surface of a fountain in a courtyard she has never entered. She thought of the woman she had spoken about and wondered how far her words had already traveled, and to whom, and in what altered shape. She had come to confession that morning expecting an ordinary penance, and had been handed a pillow instead. She now understood why.